Hello, hello, hello. How are you today? Welcome to Mind Your Business. I hope you're doing well. Life is going well. You are thriving, or at least working towards thriving. Today on Mind Your Business, I have the opportunity to, after 1 year of talking about interviewing her, I finally have her to interview her. So, who is this lovely person that I'm interviewing today? She's called Antoinette Gyan. Some people just call her Annette Gyan. I call her Annette as well. And she's the founder of Araba Africa, an initiative that provides career transforming programs for ambitious and professional women. She's on a mission to inspire African women to pursue their dreams and to live a purpose-driven life. Annette is passionate about women empowerment, employee communication, and gender equality issues. Her advocacy around this covers voice and representation, social constructs, stereotypes, and particularly gender parity in the workplace, with public relations as an entry point. She's a communication and career consultant. I am so happy to have the opportunity to speak to her, especially because of her career bit. I know many of the people who listen to this podcast, many of the women I get to engage, need Annette in their lives, need a career consultant. So I'm so excited for this opportunity. Grab your cuppa or your water. Sit tight and enjoy this episode of Mind Your Business.
Founder Ashanti, a haven nestled at the tip of Kumasi, where fresh air meets serenity. Founder Ashanti is a residential learning and event space perfect for your corporate training, staff retreat, group hangouts, and wedding receptions. With 4 rooms and 15 beds, you and your group can sleep comfortably. What makes us special? Founder Ashanti is not just a space, it's a commitment. By choosing us, you support community projects empowering women and youth. Join us at Founder Ashanti off Aful Junction, Abuabukesi, Kumasi. Founder Ashanti, here we grow. Hi, I am Annette Gyan, founder of the Fabulous Woman Network. Before 2015, I was that broke girl who was stuck in her own limiting belief of not enoughness. Marianne Williamson's words, "You are a child of God," woke me up. And then I sought help to work on myself. I still invest heavily in my personal development, and so much has changed for me in the most incredible ways. My burning desire is to see an Africa in which women are empowered to thrive and impact people. I am a trainer, coach, author, social entrepreneur, and an event organizer who is passionate about helping others on their own personal development journey so that together we can all thrive as fabulous children of God. Mind Your Business is our weekly podcast which is free on YouTube. Here we share enriching content to help us all thrive as fabulous children of God. And if you prefer to work with me one-on-one, please go to my website amadamkan.com/store to book a discovery call with me.
Hello, Annette. Congratulations on Odd Numbers. And before we talk about the book and delve into everything, let me just welcome you to Mind Your Business. Thank you so much. I feel like I've been chasing you for like a year. And finally, we have the opportunity to talk. Because how long has it been since you launched your book?
It's 1 year. So it's actually going on 1 year in June. And exactly a year now, I had gone to the African Public Relations Conference in Zambia, and I just came back from it. That was when I first talked that I'm going to launch in June. So it's actually 1 year
1
coming.
year. So this is how long I've been chasing you. I'm happy that, I believe that everything will happen in due time. So it's okay. This is a message to anyone out there that I'm chasing. In due time, I shall catch up with you.
In God's own time, definitely.
Yep, absolutely. So thank you so much for making time. Now, before we dig into your book and your awesome work, let's talk about you before you became this fabulous woman helping people with your career, writing a book and everything. What's your story? I want us to just dig into that person. What are the stories or at least a few experiences that has led to who you are today?
All right, Amma, thank you so much for having me, and I'm actually glad that I am here today. It's been a lot of round and round, but I really wanted to be here, and I'm excited. My story, I've actually put some of it in the book. I started my career in communications. I still do communications and I love communications. I had a normal life, went to university, studied English and psychology. I loved English to death, and I always apologize to the communication people because I'm like, you people, I shouldn't have come here. I should have just done my master's in English and done my Chimamanda and Ngugi and Ayikwama and all of it, because it was life. It gave life. But I never thought in my wildest dream that I was going to be an author. If I had stayed in maybe in English and done literature, continued with my master's and all of that, maybe that is when I would have seen the path. But I didn't really see it. But one thing that I knew from a long time ago was that there was something that I needed to do. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it happens to people, but I always felt like there was something that was telling me that I needed to be more. I've dealt with a lot of things regarding fear and having courage. I may look on the outside that I'm able to take risk and all of that, but it always hasn't been easy. I've had to negotiate with fear. I've had to negotiate with having courage to be able to come this far. So one of the monumental episodes or moment is COVID-19. When COVID happened, when you're having your normal life, you're busy. I worked with the UN, I did international development, I traveled a lot doing NGO work. And so you are always running around and you can make an excuse for not having time. Now, when COVID happened, you were caught with yourself. And now, there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go than to be with yourself. Yeah. So then it now felt like this is the time. And at the time I was doing a lot of youth engagement, even though my portfolio was communications, it was adolescent and youth. And I love young people. I love encouraging. I love pouring into it. It's always been with me. It didn't start like, I have funny stories, but let's not go into it, of how I was taking people's children into my parents' hall and they were peeing there, and just because I wanted to teach. So it's been a whole journey like that. But when I was doing adolescents and youth, there was something that was always beckoning on me to encourage young people to be agentic, to have more agency towards their life's purpose, towards their goals. So 2020, I started blogging. And what I had set up, I called it Young Smart Africa, because I was looking for many young people, and I had seen so many. I had done mobilization for like hundreds of young. We've done events in Kumasi. We're doing the U Report, Generation Unlimited with Eunice, a lot of work around that. And so I was on a daily basis talking to young people, and I had seen how with a little push, a little exposure, a little information, a little support, how people could do so much. And so I felt like that was the time for me to also begin to help them. And the lowest hanging fruit was writing. So I started to write, I started to blog. It's the easiest thing that I can do. So it just came naturally. I started to blog. And then a year and a half later, we birthed Araba Africa because I also wanted to talk to women. The Araba is my paternal grandmother. And she was very thriving, ambitious, all of that. So mainly I do youth work and women issues, and I'm really passionate. So those are some of the small episodes that has led to this.
Amazing. You just have this beautiful energy. I could listen to you, I could watch you and just soak in. I love it. And you've taught me a new word, agentic. Like, oh my goodness, I could never have put that together. I love it. You really do love English. Now, thank you for bringing up your grandmother. Is she alive?
No.
Okay, bless her. May her soul rest in peace. You mentioned that she was thriving, and I read that on your website as well. For you, what is your understanding, or even using your grandmother as a case study? What does it mean for a woman to thrive?
Okay. I love that question. And I would go backwards because I always do things on the reverse. Someone saw me and said, I've actually read your book. I've read the conclusion because I started the book with conclusion. I finished the conclusion. I said, so did you finish the book? She said, no, I'm now starting. I started at my conclusion is that I think that in growing up, in experiencing women, in experiencing them in communities, because remember, I've done NGO work, I've done community work, in experiencing them on a daily basis, I have seen a lot of unhappy women. And I've studied gender, I understand all the issues around gender and everything, and I understand how difficult it can be. And I find that in between navigating all of life's responsibilities, somehow within that matrix, the person of the woman becomes lost in it. And nobody actually sets out to lose themselves. Everybody sets out to actually try and contribute to do something. But along the line, the choices around life, how we negotiate social expectation, leads to many women not finding themselves in that process. And so for me, I know that God has given each person their skills and their talents. There's something everybody is supposed to do. And those things are our cues and our indicators of how we are to make the world a better place. Sometimes women don't get to do that. And I firmly believe that for life to be meaningful, you need to contribute to something. And I know that for many of us, we say family, all of that, and that's extremely important. And we as women thrive on that. But sometimes also women may sit back and think, I could have done this. And that leads to some kind of unhappiness, all of that. So for me, thriving is fulfilling your potential, fulfilling what it is that you were here to do, first finding it. And I like something that Oprah had said, that our job in this world is for us to actually find the reason why and find it as early as possible, then spend the rest of our lives doing that. And so that is thriving for me.
I love it. I love Oprah. I love what she said. And I think that's so important to discover, just keep going. It's like a gift wrapped, and you have to just unbox it and discover. And as you are discovering, you're doing what it requires of what is required of you. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Now, you are a career consultant. I don't know if you're also working full-time for other organizations, but I know that you're very passionate about helping people in terms of their career. I don't know where you were some years ago when I didn't know what to do with my life, but thank God people like me have found you. And I hope that whoever is listening and needs you is also listening keenly, because I know that you have a lot to offer and you've been helping people. And speaking of helping people, what are some of the successes you've had, and things that make you feel so proud as a career consultant because you've helped people? What are some of them?
Okay, so that one, too much. I went to launch my book in Uganda, and then on the stage, when we had finished everything, because those women in the room and the conversations we had, I knew that not a single word had fallen to the ground. Everything touched someone in that room. And on that day, I went on my knees and I said to God that I am actually humbled that you find me worthy to do this. Because in the beginning, I'm like, just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. Let me have my normal life. And then why do you keep prompting me that I need to go and do this and all of that? But now I see why. And so when I work with people, I work with them on a long-term basis. We do about 4 months, and then they go out to develop a 1-year plan. That's the people I work with them on one-on-one. And I see that by the 6th month, when they are implementing their career plan or strategy, transformation happens. And there's been so many stories. But for me, what I usually like is the change in the human being. Yeah. Because the people that come to me, by the time they are leaving, I myself, I'm like, who is this again? Like, who do we have here? And one of my clients also in Zimbabwe, the same thing. Like, even her friends, when I went there, they were like, no, we know that this person has changed. She's not the same person. She's not. And so even though I'm doing career coaching, I'm actually doing a 360, because women come with so much baggage, and the issues are many. You think we are doing career coaching, but I say that it's the human being that takes themselves to the job. And so if the human being they are dealing with imposter syndrome, they have their own personal challenge, all those things that we all deal with. If we haven't navigated it, if we haven't dealt with the mindset, etc., there's no way you can go and transform the career. So that career transformation is actually the icing on the cake. There's so many of them. There's so many of them. One of my clients, case in point, had come to me the most despondent and unhappy I have seen. Very sad, felt like everything was over. I told them, in fact, by the 2nd session, we will see a human being, because she came like the whole time, discovery call, 1st session, by the 3rd, she started smiling. I'm like, oh, we see the light, that's good. And she was able to leave her job that she had been in for 10 years, feeling stuck, feeling unhappy. She's in leadership now. She's supervising 14 people. She's thriving in her career. So many different things. And sometimes, because I do one-on-one, it's like a very intimate session. So I cannot, if I say this, you can easily point to who this person is. And so sometimes I try to manage that, but there's so many of them doing amazing things. One of my clients also came, they wanted to advance their career, but the problem was they had a communications challenge. And so they were not able to stand and speak and all that. And that was an important aspect for building their career. And so we did the work. We engaged them first. If like they needed to go and speak, they would rather get out of it, get someone to do it. Now they started speaking at intergovernmental meetings, and their office decided that they will not hire any more international facilitators for conferences, because they found a new one. So now she became the facilitator and all. So many amazing stories. But for me, the biggest is the transformation the person makes, that personal transformation, because what you've made is not for the the job you are going to go into in the next 2-3 years or 4 years, or even the career you're going to, but your whole life, you can bring that person to every stage of your career. And that is my aim. That is what I want to do. And that's what we are doing now. And I'm excited.
Fantastic. And that's the work of a great coach or teacher trainer. You don't just change that one particular aspect, but it affects all of your life and you become this blossoming person. So God bless you. God bless you on behalf of all your clients and future clients.
Yes.
Now let's talk about your book. Can you raise the, let's see, the beautiful book you've birthed. Oh, look at that. And what an interesting name, you know, with the hair. Have I told you how twice I tried to dye my hair gray and I gave up? It is so painful. Nobody tells you this. It's so painful. And like I have to go for 2-3 rounds and still I wasn't getting gray. I got like blonde and you know, like I'll just wait for God now.
Yeah.
I don't want artificial gray again.
Anymore. I think it's just the mixture. They have to try to get it right. It's not easy.
It is not. Hey, the people should announce this so that we are aware before we go into it, you know.
Ah, well.
Anyway, so to your book, congratulations once again. So it's almost 1 year. I feel led to ask you, is number 2 coming? But let me not be like one of those mother-in-laws that your child, the daughter gives birth to one and you're already asking when is number 2, number 3, 10. No, I'm not going to be like that. Even though
please feel free to be like that because the people that went to do literature and now they have to honor the Chimamanda and the Ngugi. Ngugi, they have a responsibility now that they've started.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us about Odd Numbers. What inspired you to write it?
Okay. What inspired me, first of all, is just my ability to write. When I studied English, and we are not going to hear the last of this because I should have stayed there. When I studied English, one of the things that I took away from my whole 4 years was the ability to write stylistically, but also in simple terms. So they actually taught me that you write for meaning and not for not just to show off that you know what, you know, there are people who write like that and you read a book and you're like, what did I read?
Yeah, what's happening?
what did I read? I don't know one person who has picked this book and hasn't flipped the next. At least you will flip 4 pages. Even just the person who says, let me just look, because it just leads you somewhere. So my first motivation, and before then, when 2020 happened, COVID, I was blogging. And so I had already seen that it was easy for me to write in my work as communications officer. One of my biggest things was storytelling. And that was what I was known for. I was always writing stories, going to communities, bringing people stories. So that first aspect, I knew that I wanted to bring that skill out. That is one. The second thing is that what I am doing is quite niched. And I know for a fact that not everybody would be able to come to me, and I am not even going to be able to go to everybody. That is the simple fact. But if I have a book that is accessible, then individuals across the world, across Africa, in different places would have access to some of the conversations that we do not have. And so I feel like career conversation is one of those things where, because it's so tied to our bread and butter and it's so sensitive, it's not easy for us to have this conversation. So I become that friend that in your corner, you can have that conversation with and feel comfortable to be able to speak these things with someone, even though I'm not there present. But feedback that I've received shows that people are actually able to do that. So I wanted to open the way for us to begin to have conversations that we don't usually have. And so that is why I wrote the book.
You know, I love it. I love it. It shows that you really, really want to make impact. And you know that you can't meet all of us one on one and speak to us, but at least through your book, we can get something that we can actually run with. Even if we never get to see you in person, sit with you, you are sewing into our lives. So that is wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now I'm going to encourage all of us women. Well, I know some men and youth, boys, girls, listen to this podcast, and I'm going to encourage you to invest in this. I mean, look at this lady speaking. You want to buy her book, and she will show us where we can get some. But for the woman or somebody listening to this conversation and think, you know what, I'm actually feeling stuck in my career right now. I don't know what to do. You know, that state. I don't know if this has ever happened to me, but for me, I went through that. I was like literally lost. I didn't know how to even find myself. But through that, by God's grace, this is how the Fabulous Woman Network even started. For such a woman who hasn't gotten to the point where they found out what's happening and how to get unstuck, what are some of the actions you can advise them to take, including reading your book, of course, but what are some of the other actions they can take?
Lovely. So I'm going to talk about it with the title of the book. Odd numbers, most times people will say, what kind of title is that? Building a meaningful career. What kind of title is that? I usually want people to go and find out. But it's tied to somebody saying, I'm going to my 9 to 5. 9 and 5 are odd numbers. You know how our corporate jobs. So that is how the title came about. But again, I'm also using it as a metaphor and asking people to be different. You know, we like to say even numbers, and the odd numbers are the ones that are not the unusual ones. Mm-hmm. So odd numbers is a call to be unusual. Then again, I'm also asking, what are the odds? So I'm playing on the word that what are the odds that you will end up, I'm saying the English, the literature that I know. So what are the odds that you will end up with a great career? Because a lot of times, the way we manage careers, you start your career, you get into the mid-career stage. And just like the pyramid, as you go to the top, it becomes narrower. And so it's easy for many people to be caught up in the middle. So that mid-career stage is so crucial because you would start off in a row, you would progress, and then maybe now you are there 15 years, 20 years, 10 years, 8 years, 6 years, you want to go up and it's not happening. And so feeling stuck, for me in the coaching that I do and the approach that I work with people, I use a 3-pronged approach. The first approach that I use is mindset. Mindset because our narratives around so many things are geared towards a certain way. And that is why I'm actually making this call to odd numbers. Because if I ask you, what do you think about money? Some of the things that you will say to me are things that people have said to you, not particularly what you yourself believe for it to be true. For example, money doesn't grow on trees, or it's difficult to find money and all of that. For some people, that would indeed be a reality. But what is the other side of it? What is the other side of the issue? So in the same way, I'm asking people to begin to reorient themselves on how they think about career, because the way you think is how you function. And so if you are thinking that there are no jobs, I cannot build my career, I'm stuck and all of that, then indeed you are going to be stuck, because that's how you are going to play out your life. That's how you're going to perform your career. That's the way you're going to do it. But if you have a renewed mindset and you believe that we are in an age of opportunity, several opportunities, and there is something that you can do, then you would be ready to be in motion. Then you will be at a point of action. So my first approach is for us to begin to do a self-reflection and to think, how am I looking at myself, my career, and what I can do as an individual? Have I resigned myself to my fate and thinking that life happens to me and so I'm going to accept, or at least I have a job and all of that? Is that the reality? What are the other sides of what you believe? I know people will say, stuff is difficult, all of that. Everything is difficult. Even being lazy is difficult.
That's so true. Yeah.
Even being lazy is difficult. So why don't you do the difficult that will bring you the desired outcomes? Because nothing is easy. On this journey, I can tell you that nothing is easy. But if you're going to make a choice, then make the choice that is going to benefit you in the long run. So that is one. The second approach is I look at skills building, because to grow, you have to upskill. And if you are stagnant in your skills development, then you are going to get stuck. And it's one of the ways where people often get stuck. There are several skills that you can develop, but I encourage people to begin to look at personal branding. How can I stand out? What is my value? Am I able to articulate that within my workspace? If not, then probably that's the reason why you are stuck. So you need to begin to look at how you can set yourself apart. What is your uniqueness? What do you bring? And how can you let that be visible to your audiences, which includes your bosses, hiring managers, etc. That's the second. And then the third part is career planning. When we start our career, nobody's thinking, I'm going to plan my career. This is what I'm going to do. Roughly in your head, you know that this is what you want to do, but you don't particularly have actions that you need to take. And so I would encourage people that, and I put my career planning course in the book. The course is even more expensive than the book, but I put it in the book just because I just want everybody to benefit, and you have the opportunity. So it becomes like a workbook. You plan your career, you plan what you need to do in the next year or so, and see what are the specific actions that you can take to get you to the next level.
You know what I'm thinking?
Yeah,
I am so smitten by what you do. I'm like, isn't it amazing that she's Ghanaian? That phrase literally came into my life. She's Ghanaian. I know. I'm not. I know you're African too. So hello, everyone watching.
Hello, Africa.
I love to see Africans, young African women, men doing amazing, helping people. It's just so beautiful. Thank you. And you actually put your course in the book as well. That's amazing. But is the course also available online?
Yes, the course is available online. The course is available online on my website, and then people can get in touch with me as well on that.
Yeah. Fantastic. You've been a blessing. This interview has been insightful. I've learned new words. Well, I learned agentic, and then you said a word. I didn't quite catch it. So you said you used a 3-something approach. What was the word?
A 3-prong approach.
So PRONG.
Yes.
What does it mean in English?
A 3-part approach.
Oh, please, this is too much. I love it. Thank you. Before I let you go, there are a few more questions I've got to ask you. These ones are, you're going to complete them with a short phrase or sentence, like people call them rapid fire questions or something. So the first one is, if I could advise my younger self in one short sentence, I would say
don't have so much fear. Yeah.
Good. I am fabulous because
I dare to dream.
And then finally, one book that has greatly helped me in life is
The Alchemist.
You know, I haven't read it. I don't know why I haven't read it. But that word just gave me goosebumps. Why haven't I read it? So I'm opening it. So as soon as we are done, I'm going to go into it. But thank you. Thank you for sharing. And then I know I said I'm done, but you said something in the earlier, and I want to just ask. So you talked about fear. I'm looking at you, I'm like, she's so confident and she's so out there. You ever faced fear?
I face fear every day.
Oh, you still do? It's nice to know that I am not alone.
Alone.
It's really, I love it when people are realistic and tell you the truth. Like, listen, every day I go through but I still show up. That's what I love, that you still show up in spite of, and you do what God has tasked you to do without worrying, without fearing. Even though the fear is there, your heart is going, boo, 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 but still you're doing what you got to do. So thank you. Now, final. How do we find you?
All right. So I love to engage. I love to engage on Instagram. Instagram is Araba Africa. So Araba_Africa. You can find me. I also like to engage on LinkedIn. Same Araba Africa. I also have Antoinette Gyan, APR. That's honoring my communication side and all of that. So that is also
APR.
Accredited PR professional.
Oh, right. Fantastic. Okay. Thank you. Okay.
And then Facebook, Annette. Yes, that's it.
So Facebook is also Annette Gyan.
Yes.
And your website is
www.araba-africa.com.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Annette. You are such a beautiful person with a beautiful heart, beautiful message. I know that more people will discover you and be blessed. And hopefully someday soon you'll show up into my life in the physical form.
And why are we waiting for someday when it could be even tomorrow? I've already told you. And I bought The Alchemist and I started giving it out. I have the last copy here. Maybe it's for you.
For me.
I have to come and find you and then give you your book.
It will happen in due time with you. Thank you so much, my lady.
Founder Ashanti, a haven nestled at the tip of Kumasi, where fresh air meets serenity. Founder Ashanti is a residential learning and event space perfect for your corporate training, staff retreat, group hangouts, and wedding receptions. With 4 rooms and 15 beds, you and your group can sleep comfortably. What makes us special? Founder Ashanti is not just a space, it's a commitment. By choosing us, you support community projects empowering women and youth. Join us at Founder Ashanti off Aful Junction, Abuabukesi, Kumasi. Founder Ashanti, here we grow.
Oh my goodness, the best part of this interview for me, do you want to know it? Come closer. The best part is she's Ghanaian. I love discovering amazing Ghanaians, amazing Africans, amazing people doing amazing things to help others. Thank you so much, Annette, for this interview. I know she's still not here, but thank you, because I feel energized. I feel happy within myself. I feel blessed. And I hope you felt blessed as well with this interview. Please let me know in the comments, how did this make you feel? Is there any takeaway you're having, something you're going to work with? And please share this as well with someone else. Until I come your way again, same time next week, don't forget to continue being amazing. Toodles. Bye.
Mind Your Business is one of our free resources available on YouTube. And if you prefer to work with me one-on-one as your coach, as a consultant, or as a trainer, it starts with a discovery call. Head to amadankan.com/store to book a discovery call with me.